And this largest organ needs to look good.
Poor thing.
And it's completely linked to your mental health.
Something
and how?
Something
right?
like a woman, right? She has to lift the heavy weights, look like a woman, act like a woman, be the moral torchbearer of the society. While doing her stuff. Her skin has to do the same thing. How do you quantify emotions? I wish we could.
Eventually it'll happen. Somebody's going to pick up on this conversation and do something about it.
I hope so.
Because paparazzi, sort of pick up that piece of information and they blow it up and it's amplified all over. That this person has got this done, this person has got this done, and it's gone wrong.
That's the catch.
That's the catch.
Paparazzi has only picked up things when it has gone wrong. Almost everybody's doing it. But when it is right, nobody knows it. And that's the right job. What I feel bad about is celebrities doing it don't come out in the open and say they're doing it. In fact, don't say it that you're doing it.
Few have.
No, the ones who are not saying it, I'm okay. Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't run it down after having done it. It is tough to have a celeb because you have to be very careful because it faces on screen. If somebody says something wrong about them, it is finally hitting your art. So you need to be careful.
Hi everyone, welcome back. You're watching Unstoppable Woman. Today we have a very famous dermatologist, Dr. Falguni Shah with us. And today we are going to go very skin deep, but also spirit deep with her.
Yes.
Welcome, doctor. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so we are going to go a little deep, like I said, and go behind the person which we see. Who is the real Dr. Falguni Shah? You want to talk about something about your childhood, where it all started?
It's what very normal. Sometimes I feel way too normal and straightforward a life that there are friends of mine who actually feel that maybe you're not telling us everything, but that's all that there is. That born a good student, born to parents who were both professionals. My mother is a scientist and she used to be working with TIFR, that is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. My father was a businessman whose dream was that the child becomes a doctor, and me, a complete fan of the father. So I think I didn't know of any other way but to grow up to be a doctor. So I tell most of my friends that the easiest thing in my life is to study. So studying has come very naturally to me. And,
any siblings?
I have a brother.
Okay.
And he's an engineer as well, and he lives in America. So. But yes, it was a family where we were told that there is no other way but education. So when you get into that stream, so very simple, educated, middle-class upbringing.
Okay.
And
all in Mumbai?
All in Mumbai, and I didn't really have any pitfalls out there. That means you finish your school. Then you do well in your class 12. You get into MBBS. You sail through that. You get into MD. So didn't have a break where education was concerned.
But you were very clear that you'll get into medicine, right?
I was very clear I would get into medicine, and I think I didn't know, there was no plan B. So like after my class 12, I took, because medicine admissions, like you see what's happening even today with NEET and everything, medicine admissions happen last, as in the seats are declared last. But you can't keep waiting, so you have to take some admission somewhere, so that you don't stay 12th pass. But I was good in education, so I got in engineering as well, because we used to do PCBM, that is physics, chemistry, bio and math. So till I got into medicine, which was a month later, I took up engineering. So
pretty focused.
I mean,
you had clear idea, medicine hai, medicine mein jana hai. So there was like a straight trajectory towards that goal. Any hobbies around it which you developed?
So as a child, I used to dance a lot. I've also done my Arangetram, which is, we do Bharatnatyam, and after that you do Arangetram. So I've done that, and I used to paint some, but I don't know where it all went. But if someone asked me what were your hobbies, then they were that.
And now?
And now I think it is mostly fitness. I got into the zone of fitness to keep the mind fit.
How many years ago?
So there's a story there. When I was doing my MBBS, in my final year MBBS, I was very overwhelmed with the education as such. And by final year MBBS, we had started seeing patients in the hospital. And I think I was very, very weak to see, because as you know, or I don't know if you don't know, but in government hospitals, maximum people getting admitted are those who don't really come for an illness, but they also come because they have no place to live. They come and, the government provides them food. So seeing that much pain and illness around wasn't easy on me. and it was getting very difficult to study. So my father one day, everything that I'm in my life is thankfully because of my father, or gratefully because of him. And he took me to the beach one day and said, just why don't you run?
Okay.
And
So he
I did
noticed
run.
something in you.
Yeah, because I was unable to study. So, and that was very rare to me. So he made me run, and I realized that the mind got way easier. So then I held on to it because it was the easiest way to make me concentrate more.
Right. Right. But now there's a lot of science supporting it now.
Oh yes,
You know,
that time
right.
it was just my father supporting it. Now yes,
Yeah.
it is science supporting it as well.
All the good hormones and
The serotonins, and then you learn about it. But yes, I think your age-old remedies have a lot of science in it if you dissect
so running.
them well.
So running was
I started running because there was no concept of a gym
gym
then.
at that time. Yeah.
And then eventually I realized that it was not possible to run because we are not as safe as 2 in the night and 3 in the night, especially when you're an intern and you're doing your residency.
Right.
You don't really finish on time.
Right.
So that's when the concept of gym came up, and I joined the gym, I think, when I was in my 30s.
Okay.
And since then it's been no looking back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've recently taken up a sport, because call it midlife crisis,
Which is
squash.
not
So,
bad.
Yeah, so that's happening now.
So very interesting. I mean, as a doctor, you got on to health and fitness very early on, right?
I think
it's not only just talking about something, it's also you are walking the talk.
And I feel that there is no other way.
There's no other way.
There is no other way to heal the body if you don't heal the mind.
And
Because
both are linked.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, a patient who walks into my clinic or office with faith that this doctor will treat me always gets treated. And a patient who walks in with Google achieved 5 differential diagnosis will always take longer to heal, or will go doctor shopping and will try to take different opinions. And in that, they only harm themselves.
And can you make out the moment they walk
moment
in, which category they belong to?
I absolutely. I think one thing about medicine is, I may be wrong, but it is something which I have realized over a period of time, that touching someone is a lot of exchange of energies. And I touch so many people every single day that I think somewhere down the line I started adapting their energy. So we know it when the patient enters your room that this is good news or bad news. We know it when they enter. And the exchange of energy is just apparent. And I also have learned one thing which my teacher had taught me while I was doing my internship, that any patient who comes to you, touch the patient. Because when you touch, you not just take their energy, you also give their energy. So if you're even looking at an acne, touch the face. Because you may use a sterilizer and disinfect yourself, but touch the face, वो healing thoda udhar hi ho jata.
Correct.
Because touching is giving warmth.
Absolutely. I mean, now obviously there are studies and techniques of Reiki and passing on the energy, right? And we do have that energy aura which all of us carry.
Absolutely.
So if you are charging your energy aura every day, or if you're exercising, or you have any other hacks, I think that also sort of is a transmission of that energy.
Yes, I so agree.
Yeah. So do you combine it with anything else besides exercise, like mindfulness or meditation? Breathing.
It's on my list.
It's on your list.
It's on my list, and I really want to get to a calmer version of myself, but it is not coming.
You look very
easy.
calm.
Well, I know how to act, but I would like to really practice this in my day-to-day life. I want to meditate. It's on my list. And
it's interesting, because I meet many people and they always start with physical first, right? Because
easier, no?
It's, I guess, but for me, when I was young, it started with meditation first.
And you are more evolved than most of us.
I don't want to label anybody.
No, seriously.
It's just now, off late, the last 1 decade, it's been the physical now.
I'll give you an instance on this, or it is just an anecdote kind of thing. Most people want to feel good, and every book you read says that if you feel good, you look good.
Yes.
But the easier way to also achieve is when you look good, you feel good as well.
Yes.
And I have seen this so often in my practice, so often that it's not funny.
Yeah.
I have seen people change the minute they start looking the best versions of themselves.
I was coming to that.
And it is apparent. I'll give you an example. We had a patient, a young couple, not very happy in the marriage, or rather not compatible in the marriage. Happiness is a larger word. Compatibility comes first. And we decided to work on her, and she had some pigmentation issues, and she was premature aging kind of phase. And it worked. And I can see her so much happier in the marriage. And now when they come as a couple, there's so much they talk about, because I could feel that her confidence in self was so much more. Her irritability on other aspects was lesser. She was dedicating good 3 minutes a day on skincare, which is also very meditative. Because any kind of routine is meditative.
You have to be in the moment.
So she's in the moment. I feel her relationship is
and
better.
You're connecting with your physical self, right? And you're spending time on yourself, which is all about that me time we've been talking about.
Yes,
very true.
The relationship of hers with everyone else. And I'm not even going by what she's saying. When she enters my room today, her energies are so much different. So I'm so much more comfortable with her. I mean, where I would dread to ask her for a cup of coffee, now I can sit and chat with her on coffee and toast. Dono.
Very interesting, interesting point you made. It's when we think of skincare, dermatology or cosmetology, it's always about products, right? Because the brands have completely made it very commercial. But what you're saying is a very different language. You're saying it in a language which is very human-like, which is very...
It's very human.
It's about my relation with my skin and my body and my time at that time when I'm spending very in close contact. And it can be a meditative process. It can be a process of self-healing or self-love.
And it really makes a difference when you go home. Try it out someday. If you've had a horrible, horrible day and you don't want to meet anyone, but you go and spend that 15 minutes in the bathroom. You go, you wash your face. You pat your face dry, not completely dry, leave some water there. See, I'm just giving tips on skincare also. Apply that moisturizer nicely. Comb your hair, oil it, braid it up. Do whatever you need with your hair. Go back to your bed. Take a little bit of Vaseline. Put it on your hand. Put it on your feet. Watch the TV. You will see that you are much calmer. If you want
pampered.
Self-pampered. If you wanted to pick up a fight with someone, you will fight less after those 3 minutes of therapy that you've done. And it works.
There should be some research quantifying this,
How do you quantify emotions? I wish we could.
Eventually it'll happen. Somebody's going to pick up on this conversation and do something about it.
I hope so. That'll be nice.
Okay, so coming to your education, which you were very clear where you're heading towards, right? And then you started your clinic also very early part of your practice. How did that happen?
So after I finished, the good or the bad part is I've got no breaks in life, or rather I'm like that and I didn't take breaks. I don't know which comes first. But when I was giving my postgraduate Viva, Viva is the external examiner. My external examiner then had a friend who I could say was my mentor, because she's no more and she passed, so I would say my mentor, Dr. Rekha Seth, and she was there in the college when the Viva was going on. So when I finished my Viva, I had not even got my results. I didn't know whether I cleared my MD. So when she came out and she told me, would you want to work as my assistant? And I was like, yeah, why not? And this is called manifesting, because I used to stay in this suburb, Villepalla. And I used to walk from my home to the to school every day. And when I used to walk, there was a building there which had a board which said Dr. Rekha Seth, because that's where her clinic was. And every time I used to walk and I used to say, wow, someday I'll have Dr. Falguni Shah. And can you believe it? She was in the college and she said, would you like to work with me? And I was like, oh my God, this couldn't be happening. And I didn't even bother where, how.
It would just hit you every day when you walked
on that road. I have read that name. Every single day till my class 10th, I have read that name when I've passed.
Reading, and there was something feeling you were having while you were reading it, right?
I had heard about her, and I'd heard that they were a very famous doctor couple. Husband is a psychiatrist and she was a dermatologist. Dermatology was never my dream. I always wanted to be a gynec. And fate had it that I didn't get into gynecology, but I got into dermatology.
Okay.
So while I was giving my viva, when Dr. Rekha Seth was there, I already knew about
Yeah.
her, and she asked me to work with her, and I
Yeah.
was like, I am not a dermatologist as yet.
Yeah.
And those times were purer. A dermatologist would employ a dermatologist. Nowadays it is, you could have homeopaths, MBBS, everybody
Acha,
practicing that
okay.
science. We'll come to that later.
Okay.
So I said, but ma'am, my results are not out. He says, she was a Gujarati saying, Avi just say.
Acha.
Tu avi ja.
Tu acha.
And I was like, okay. And I thought she will say next week. I said, okay, when do I? I said, I plan to take a holiday. She says, Kale savar na avi ja. Oh my God. So I finished my viva, and next day morning, 7 o'clock, I was at a clinic, and I started working with her before I got
Okay.
my
Amazing.
degree. And yes, I learned a lot from her.
Hmm.
I learned a lot, not just medicine, but how to conduct yourself, and how I learned a very, very important thing in life, because she has two sons, that if you're a working, successful woman, there is no work-life balance.
Okay.
It is always a juggle.
Okay.
You will be juggling two ends. You will never balance. And I learned it. I was prepared for it.
Yeah.
So I was a very hands-on mother,
Yeah.
but I have juggled.
But hold on to that thought, that because that's interesting, right? And that's
Yeah.
where women generally find it challenging when work-life balance, juggling.
There is no
these
balance.
Are, there's no balance.
It is
Explain.
a juggle. Work-life balance, what I understand is that you are giving quality time to your kids, and you're giving quality time to work. It cannot happen. You will be giving time to work and time to kids.
Both.
Let's take the word quality, and the compromise will be you yourself. So for example, in my daughter's school, when she was young, and they had said someday that everybody had to get something from home.
Yeah.
And you get a snack from home.
Yeah.
And the importance of home cooked food.
Yeah.
I realized it in the morning that we have to do this, and I had to rush to work. So there is no concept of home cooked food. I just had my associate, who was a very, very sweet, dear friend of mine now, who also runs a practice but in Goa.
Yeah.
And I told her, Jayashri, kya kare? He says, doesn't matter. She quickly ordered idlis from one of the Udupis.
Okay.
We put it in a foil as it looks like we've homemade.
Yeah.
And we took it to school.
Yeah.
And people loved those idlis.
Yeah.
And we said they were homemade.
Right.
That's called juggling. So you don't balance, you show up.
But you show
juggle.
up.
You show up.
That's more important.
Yeah, so you show
it's
up.
also not about that typical 100%
Yeah, it's
of
never
what
100%.
other people of society wants from you. It's your 100%.
And the other thing was to be seen at school at pickup times.
Yeah.
Because it was considered that mothers who come to pick up their kids,
They are much more
hands-on.
hands-on.
All mothers around, because if I'm not accepted, my child is not accepted. You see how it is in schools nowadays, that the mothers become friends, and that's how the kids become friends.
Yes. Yes.
But you learn.
Yeah.
So you juggle, you learn.
Okay. Now
And you move on.
you touched upon a interesting topic, and also where I think women are doing most of the heavy lifting.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and there are men sitting in the room, but I still want to bring this topic up.
Okay.
In terms of, when you're saying that I'm juggling between school and my clinic and then home, and there's lots going on.
And then you have these false things in your head that have been built up, that I don't want my daughter to go for tuitions. I'm going to teach her.
Yeah.
So you come back
Yeah.
at 7:30 p.m. You don't even keep your bag down, and you straight rush to her room and say, "Show me your homework. Show me your homework."
Yeah.
So you do all that.
Yeah.
You juggle. You
Yeah.
compromise on self
Yeah.
and your mental health.
Yeah.
But we have this idea that you need to succeed, and you need to succeed purely. Whatever
But
that
is
means.
it about there's a lot of heavy lifting women are doing?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and
I
there
see a
is
lot
there
of
is
them.
there is somewhere there are certain roles which are self-assigned, because generations and generations have been doing,
Yeah.
call it generational trauma or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's also what we are doing ourselves. Knowing
Absolutely.
that it's eating into our mental health or
Absolutely.
me time,
Absolutely.
it's burning us down. But we
is
are
absolutely
bringing it on
so.
ourselves.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, Shailja, because I have a girl at home, and she's 18. So it's time we change a little bit, Because one thing I've learned in my journey with my child, that kids don't listen to you, they watch you,
They observe.
they observe. So you may tell them 100 times a day, eat healthy, eat healthy. They're not going to listen to if they see you not eating healthy. You give them exercise, go and be fit. They're not going to see that. And if you are going to sit at home and make importance out of things which are not important, like instead of
They're
buying
watching.
5 fruits, you've bought 10 fruits,
Yeah.
and you are going to spend 1 hour on deciding which those 10 fruits are.
Yeah.
They're watching you.
So it's the generation has changed,
Yeah.
right?
They need to
Earlier,
see.
it was more instructional because lack of information, no
Yeah,
internet
yeah.
now. Kids are much more aware. So they don't want instructions.
They don't want
walk the
instructions.
talk. They want to like,
Walk the
okay,
talk.
if you're talking about fitness, I'm watching if you're going to the gym,
Yeah,
right? Stuff like that.
true. And if you talk about women being successful and independent, they're watching you.
How,
And
how,
it is not just girls. It is boys at home are watching their mothers.
Absolutely.
So if boys at home see mothers who don't really have an identity of their own, they're okay with getting a wife like that, and they're
Yeah.
okay with not giving the wife equal status.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we
watch
make a change
watch
ourselves.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Make a change.
Like my father used to say that get married to someone whose mother is evolved and educated. I don't care about the son.
Interesting.
And it made so much sense.
It made sense.
It made.
Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me why dermatology, of course, you told me
Yeah.
how it happened. But opening a clinic very early on, right?
Yeah, so it so happened that my father fell ill,
Okay.
and chronically so. He went through a renal failure, and he had to be taken for dialysis like 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
And my brother had already shifted to America, and the clinic where I was assisting Dr. Rekha said was in South Bombay.
Okay.
And it was getting very difficult for me to take him because he was a stubborn man. And it was not about just taking him to the dialysis, it was about convincing him to come for the dialysis.
Ah.
So it was a task. And so I decided to start a clinic close to
his
home.
place. Okay.
Which when I was not even mentally ready or financially ready, but somehow the money sense is not too great in me. So I didn't worry about kaise chalega.
Okay.
I
But
just found
started
the place, and thankfully money has the financial burden never happened,
Okay.
and things fell in place. But I started a clinic close to home to be able to take my dad for
Okay.
his dialysis.
Okay.
That's how I started my practice.
Okay.
And then it was just the rest is history.
And it's called what's
the
it?
Radiance Skin Clinic.
Okay.
I started it in 2004.
Okay.
Before that, as I said, I was working with Rekha Seth, and till I could have just enough money to pay up the deposit or something, I also started small time in these polyclinics,
Yeah.
where you take a 2-hour slot.
Yeah.
And I realized, but that was not my game. I also realized that I needed the space,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do procedures in a certain way. So that's how I.
Okay, so you started your clinic 20 years ago, like
Yes,
you said, right?
yes.
To make life comfortable for your father.
Yes.
Why the name Radiance?
I have no clue.
It's intuitive.
It has no relevance, no nothing. I was working in a polyclinic where I used to have a 2-hour slot.
Yeah.
And I had this very old gentleman who used to run that place. And one fine day he just came over and he said that he wants to shut the place because they wanted to give it to a bank.
Okay.
And no intimation was given to me. And by the time I had thankfully, gracefully started doing well in my practice, I had
Okay.
enough number of patients that it was difficult for me to leave from that place.
Yeah.
But he said, I'll give you a 1-month notice. And I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? And I had a small Santro car. Comes from the fact that huge Shah Rukh Khan fan.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember, I don't know if everybody remembers, he was the ambassador
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Santro. So I'd seen him touch there was an ad where he was touching the road and he could hear the car, and they had Hyundai coming. I said, okay, that's the car I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
So that was my first car, and I bought that. And so I got into the car and I said, what's the point? Just let's survey the area. I didn't even know it had
Yeah.
a name called Reiki.
Yeah.
So I just went for a drive, and
Yeah.
I saw one building which had a ground floor, and they did it to let.
Okay.
So I went and asked, and they told me, अच्छा इसका तो 26,000 rent है. I was like, जो भी है देखा जाएगा. So I took the place, and with hardly any money and a lot of support from friends, we just put some chairs, we put something, and we started. And I was able to pay the rent the first month, and after that there was no looking back. So and why the name Radiance? Because while I was going, I was thinking नाम क्या रखेंगे, नाम क्या रखेंगे, नाम क्या रखेंगे, and while I was going, I saw this word radar written somewhere.
Okay.
Like radar, say Radiance.
Okay.
And I didn't even really think that Radiance.
So
meant
universe has been
skin.
talking back to you.
Yeah,
It
I didn't
seems
think
like.
that. Yeah, and there was nobody to consult. There was nobody to talk to, because ghar mein when you have someone ill, so like I tell everyone, you have a lot of problems till you have a health problem.
Yes.
The minute you have a health problem, that is the
Only problem.
So in my house that time, the only problem was the health of my dad. So there was nobody to consult, nobody.
And
to
you were
ask.
close to him, very close.
Oh, I was obsessed with him. So there was nobody to ask, and I just started it, and it was nice. It's been very kind to me. Universe has been very kind. The clinic has been very kind.
Yeah.
I've had the best staff. Touch wood, मुझे कभी मेरी नज़र लग जाएगी. But the best staff, the most. I mean, if I'm ill, I would rather go
To
the
your
clinic.
To your own clinic.
No, if I'm ill at home and somebody says, "Aaj rest kar lo," I said, "Let me go rest in the clinic."
So that is more peaceful for you.
That's more peaceful for me.
Amazing. What an environment you've created.
Yes, and I think I can say that about every single person who's working in my office.
Lovely.
That they,
Lovely.
like
is there a routine you guys follow? Like in the morning, or do you come together and do something?
Yeah, we have a chai together. We have
so
2 cups of chai together.
Very nice.
To the fact that a girl went into labor in my clinic at 7 p.m. She was full 9 months pregnant. She went into labor and delivered within 2 hours. She wouldn't sit at home even for a day.
Wow.
She would say, "I would rather deliver here than go back home."
Wow.
So we love the place. And again, like I'm saying, that place has been built not by people, but by their energies and what they get to the table.
And the staff has been around for all these years.
Yes, they've been. I have my assistant doctors have been with me for almost 10 years. I have had girls who are assisting me who've been with me for 12 years. So the only time people have moved on is when they've moved on to a marriage in a different city.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we've lived as a family. And we are super proud of that.
Lovely. Okay, so talking about, skincare and skincare routines, and there's a lot which you speak about on a, I would say you are the OG Insta creator now. We see you a lot more, and it's very interesting, the kind of reels which you create. You talk a lot about skincare for all age groups.
Yes.
So it's not only youngsters, it's also older people, menopausal, pregnancy, you're covering all sort of issues. But is there any skincare which you follow, which is favorite for you and favorite for yourself and which has worked?
I think over the years, just using a sunscreen regularly has worked for me. And I started using sunscreen even before I got into dermatology, because I had a very allergy-prone skin. There is a term called atopic dermatitis in skin, which is an autoimmune disorder. And I've been a highly sensitive person, and every exam that I've given I've cried and given exam because I'm always nervous. And so I used to get these skin rashes associated with atopic dermatitis very easily. And they used to get worst in the sun.
Okay.
So in those days, sunscreen का concept नहीं था.
और sunscreen की quality भी इतनी अच्छी नहीं थी. I remember the greasy. Like I stopped using it for a long time, and then I realized, sunscreen तो है ही नहीं routine में.
So I used to get that sunscreen. There was something in the US which was called Water Babies by Coppertone, and there was another one which was available in Crawford Market called Banana Boat. These were all spurious ones, but the US one, I had a mama who would send it to me, and I would lather myself with sunscreen, however sticky. And I'm brown. I used to look browner over there because of too much sunblock. But I think it worked for me.
It worked for you.
It worked how? In maintaining the collagen.
Okay.
I'm not a big sucker for fair skin.
Okay.
Nobody should be, but they are. That's the truth. But yes, it preserves the collagen. So it somewhere leaves your skin a little bit more youthful. And I think that worked for me.
Okay.
And I would say that everyone must use a
So
sunblock.
cleansing and sunscreen.
So if the routine needs to go is cleansing, sun protection and moisturizing. So if
This
you
is
have
basic.
to, 3 things अगर आपको करने हैं तो use a detergent free cleanser, use a sunscreen
Yeah.
which is broad spectrum,
Yeah.
and broad spectrum hair which also now has something called a blue light or a blue shield,
Okay.
which also helps you helps protect you from infrared, which is your mobile phone,
Just like what you have in
laptop.
your spectacles.
Yes, so
Amazing.
same thing in the sunscreen.
Yeah.
And you use that daily.
Okay.
Cleanse it with a detergent free, which is a non-foaming face wash, and use a moisturizer as per your skin type.
Okay. Okay.
So these 3 things you must follow.
Yeah.
These are for healthy skin.
Yeah.
Then we can discuss on what you need for a good looking skin as yet.
Okay. So this is basically hygiene. This is your base level.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the second level. If somebody is in media or in front of the camera, or they're conscious, or influencers, or somebody who's just more aware about skin and skincare, what is the next level?
So I think once this level is sorted, once you know that you want to go a step further, you need to start something which are called skin actives.
Okay.
Skin actives are those which are made in a serum form.
Okay.
Why a serum form is because that is easily absorbed by the skin.
It absorbs better.
When you make it in a cream or a moisturizer form, you will have to add a lot of other agents in that, which dilutes what you want to give to the skin. So a vitamin C serum, I think, is recommended for everyone.
At night?
It's always during the day.
Always.
Vitamin C is an antioxidant.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you cleanse your skin, apply your vitamin C serum, and then put a sunblock on top of that.
Okay.
A mistake which you will make is if you apply the vitamin C and you don't apply a sunblock on that. Because if you apply a vitamin C, it oxidizes on your skin.
Okay.
And that may make you look darker.
Oh, okay.
So use a vitamin C and then
Okay.
don't forget to use a sunscreen.
Okay, got it.
Because that vitamin C will protect your skin
Yeah.
during the day from all the excess damage.
Yeah.
Then at night, depending upon your skin type, what I think most people should use is a hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
Again, in a serum form, that is giving hydration to the skin. So if
Okay.
there is one thing which I would say that what is that one thing that you would want to do for skin is, I would say, maintain the epidermal barrier function.
What is that?
That means maintain the hydration capacity of the skin. So your epidermis, that is the first layer of the skin, has 10% water content in it. That is your natural hydration, and that is the layer which protects you from everything from outside.
Okay.
Which is the pollution, the harmful sun effects, everything else.
Okay.
So आपका वो कवच है.
So basically the first layer and is blocking everything out.
Yes, which is protecting.
Which is hydration.
Which is hydration but not moisture.
Not
What I
moisture.
mean by that is hydration is in the gel form which absorbs moisture.
Understood.
So
Understood.
it is hyaluronic acid is in tiny gels, which eventually over a period of time starts capturing the moisture,
Okay.
and that's how it builds up on the barrier.
And these are also serums.
These are serums, and hyaluronic acid naturally भी present है आपके body में. है सबके
So
body
जो
में.
हम डाल भी रहे हैं वो replicate कर रहा है अंदर जो
वो
है.
replicate कर रहे हैं.
Okay.
So आपका जो hydration है hyaluronic acid, it starts depleting with age. A. Second with stress.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, and the sun.
Okay.
So these are 4 things which will deplete it.
So age.
Age, lifestyle
Style.
means if you are into too much makeup, not taking
Smoking.
the makeup, smoking, not having enough water.
Yeah.
Oh.
Too much polluted area if you're working. And
Yeah, and you don't
exposed.
wash your face very regularly, and you're okay with sleeping with makeup,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the sun, because the sun anyways will evaporate your moisture.
Yeah.
Now, as this hyaluronic acid starts depleting, the signs of aging, discoloration, pigmentation, everything starts. So if you are replacing the hyaluronic acid in a serum form, you're helping maintain the barrier function.
Okay.
So I think hyaluronic acid is good. And then after these 2 actives, then you can choose an active depending on your repair thing.
Okay.
Like what you want to repair.
Okay.
If you are 30 plus, start a retinol.
Okay.
If you have patchiness, then there are other combinations like niacinamide along with glutathione in the topical form, which can be available.
Okay.
So then you treat the concerns.
Okay.
So
Okay.
these
So that's
are-
a third level.
That's the third level.
which is basically pertinent to certain
if you have a skin
issues.
problem, and
If you have a
I
skin
would like
problem.
to say that almost every individual thinks they have a skin problem.
Yeah.
Thanks to Instagram.
Some sort of the other.
Yeah, because Instagram uses so much filter that everybody looks chakachon.
Stunning.
They feel
Yeah.
something is wrong with me.
Correct.
But not everybody needs to use a lot.
Hmm.
So we make our own products also
At Radiance.
at Radiance,
Okay.
and this thing
And they're available only in your clinic, or they were
and now on Instagram as well.
Instagram as well.
And this started during lockdown, because in COVID, when patients couldn't come to us and still wanted, so there were two things: they had time, and they wanted to do something about themselves.
Right.
So we would, that time I used to make salicylic acid or hyaluronic acid. I have a pharmacist in Chennai, and we would send it to their homes. Ghar pe karo, in bottle forms. Then the bottle started having a label on it.
Okay, so it grew organically.
It grew organically, and then the label had a name, and then the name became a brand. So we're going from, and this year we've done exceptionally well with the products, is what I came to know from my CA now. And
Lovely.
we know that we are now raring to just go all out and go online.
Very nice. Very nice.
We'll take it by that.
So 3 levels, right? Level 1 is base, which is just hygiene, maintenance. Level 2 is essentially to do with your routine, which is morning, evening. And third is which is pertinent to certain issues which you have.
Certain issues that you have.
And then fourth is the one which we've been talking about of late.
Overdoing it.
Overdoing it. There's no there's no
3.
fourth.
Your skin is a multiplying organ throughout life. If you need help after 3, then you must visit a skin specialist.
Got it.
Because that is a time when you need to intervene.
Got it.
And intervention can't be done by topical applications.
Okay.
See,
when you say topical applications, what happens in beauty parlors? Or, yeah?
No comments.
No comments, okay.
Yeah. So, topical applications ka matlab hai everything which is limited to the first layer of the skin.
Okay.
Your skin is not a semi-permeable membrane. Whatever you put in doesn't go inside.
तो वो help नहीं करता.
वो help नहीं करता. तो अगर आपको नीचे जाना है, means you want to make some serious changes, like add the youth, subtract the aging, take away the pigmentation, then you will have to visit a dermatologist.
And it has to be done through proper equipments.
Prescription products. There are prescription creams. Everything doesn't
when we
require
are going to these salons and beauty parlors and spending a lot of money there, you're saying कि वो temporary है.
वो feel good है.
Feel good है.
Temporary है कि नहीं भी.
So मतलब feel good के लिए I can have a candy also.
You feel
I don't have to go and bust my.
Just wear your shoes and go for a run.
Go for a run.
You've come back feeling the best. Not just good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the fourth level, which is what you're saying is घर पे नहीं होगा.
घर पे नहीं होगा.
अभी उसके beyond you want to enhance something.
Yeah.
Now let's go to that level.
Now let's go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Let's analyze our skin. Let's understand what can be done, what should be done, and how much I want to do.
Okay.
Because there are 3 levels. A lot can be done, little can be done, or we can maintain what you have in a healthy way. So you discuss that with your doctor.
Okay.
You make a plan.
Okay.
Dermatology is a treatment where you should follow a plan.
Okay.
It is not a 4-day prescription.
Okay.
कि मुझे खांसी हुआ है, I'll get a prescription for 4 days, I'll be all right on the 5th day.
ऐसा नहीं है.
It is something that will have to grow. You know, you do this and you go from strength to strength. So make your plan and then follow it.
Okay. Do you complement this with some other sort of techniques? Do you tell your patients to do now calming exercises?
I always
or just relax because it's all skin, right? If they're getting a treatment done, so I'm assuming it's going to play on their mind.
On your metabolism, because if you are going with, and for example, if you're going with an anti-aging goal, what is aging? Aging is not limited to the skin.
Yeah.
Aging is a body mechanism. Your skin is aging because you are aging. It's not the other way around. So if you're aging and you're only going to do something on your skin, how far is it going to take you?
Yeah.
Build up your metabolism.
Overall.
So exercise.
Eat right.
Eat right. Calm down. Calm down. Very important. So all that is very important, and I tell my patients that my skincare will only make you look youthful if your body is responding. And I also want to wipe out the word young and old. Let's be youthful, and that's all we should aim at.
Yeah.
Because young to cattle bhi hota hai, doesn't make them look good. But
Yeah.
the thing is, our focus, our industry is such that the only way to look good is to look young.
Yeah.
I think there are gracefully aging women who are beautiful. So if you're talking
Yeah.
about looking good, age has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So if anybody who's youthful and doing the right thing can look good,
Yeah.
so we can stick to that.
Okay. So tell me, you've been talking about holistic approach, right? If somebody is coming to you and you will look at their history,
Yeah.
and where they're heading towards also, right? How much should they really
And
do?
I would love to see somebody who's coming to me carry a picture of their mom or their dad. I'd like to see where the genetic aging is also going. It
Oh,
makes a
very
big difference.
interesting. Very
Makes a
interesting.
big difference because I understand the genes and it's easier
Yeah.
to take it forward.
Yeah.
Even when you're talking about obesity,
Yeah.
if you know the gene, you're able to treat it better.
Yeah. And
Somebody-
then as it at your end, you're not overdoing something.
Yes, and you know
right?
where to stop because you know rest the genes will take over. Like that.
Okay, so talking about a little more invasive
Yeah.
sculpting beauty products or techniques, which are fillers and Botox, right? I mean, they've come into limelight because of all the celebrities using it. Honestly, and I think that's where it caught everyone's attention because paparazzi, paps sort of pick up that piece of information and they blow it up and it's amplified all over that this person has got this done, this person has got this done, it's gone wrong. But
so that's the catch.
That's a catch. Okay.
Paparazzi has only picked up things when it has gone wrong. Almost everybody's doing it, but when it is right, nobody knows it, and that's the right job.
When you say everybody's doing it, and it's as good as going to a salon getting your hair straightened,
Yes.
right? It's not a big deal.
Yes.
Right?
And you know where this is coming from. There are 2-3 things to this. It's okay to do it.
Okay.
It's okay to do it because if it gives you confidence, why not? It is scientific. It is, if in the right hands, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And if it is giving you what you're looking for,
Yeah.
what's wrong in that? I mean, people go and buy new clothes
Yeah.
to feel good. What's wrong in getting something done if it's making you feel good? A. Second, there are certain professions today, and I will not stop at saying it is only the film industry or the media. Professions require or value the young,
Yeah. Youthful.
youth.
Yeah.
Now, there are so many people who have so much knowledge. Sometimes you want to continue to feel relevant.
Yeah.
And you kind of start feeling irrelevant if you're among the young and you're taking as, he's too old for the job.
Just because of the looks.
Just because of the looks.
The intellect is there.
Yes, the intellect
The
is
experience
there.
is backing you, but just because of the looks, you feel
I mean, a
left out.
40-year-old can do a marathon as quickly as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
But just because he's looking 40, they will say, ye thoda buddha hai.
Yeah.
Now, so if your relevance is going down because of the age factor, there's nothing wrong in looking youthful. You can still tell people I'm 40 and they will say, oh, you're damn good for 40.
Yeah.
Don't lie about the age.
Yeah.
Just defy it.
Yeah.
Because that's the right thing to
So
do.
there are all kind of people coming to you, right?
Yes.
There are people who have issues, who don't have issues, who are young, who are old.
Yeah.
And the reasons could be multiple.
Multiple. Like,
and they're accepted.
They're
In the sense when they go back home, they're telling their family, I went. That's what I want to talk about.
I don't think we are still in the community or the
right?
country where we are accepting it, and that's what is creating the trouble. Now, what is happening is we have actors coming on screen and saying we look this good because of olive oil and beetroot. बेचारा बीटरूट खा खा के मर जाता है वो इंसान और डिप्रेशन आता है वो अलग और वेट इंक्रीज हो जाता है वो और भी अलग और वो ऑलिव ऑयल खा पी के एक्ने आ जाते हैं वो
अलग है
वो नहीं होगा बट व्हेन यू एक्सेप्ट इट यू डोंट मिसगाइड पीपल एंड इन एन अटेम्प्ट टू हाइड इट you always blotch up. Like, I see it all the time. I have people coming, they want to do jobs done and they'll say, I want to go home, nobody should come to know.
हाँ ये तो फर्स्ट लाइन होगा.
अब हम कुछ इंटरवीन कर रहे हैं तो कहीं तो रेडनेस स्वेलिंग कुछ तो होगा.
कुछ तो होगा. Unless you go underground for like a week.
और वो काउंटर करने के लिए वो उसी वक्त उस पर मेकअप लगा देंगे. So you are inviting an infection. So let's accept it. If you can talk about going to the salon and covering your grays, what is that?
Yeah.
You're
but
going
that's
to
accepted for ages
Why?
now, doctor.
That is what. It's about acceptance.
Yes.
You
There's
know,
a big taboo about this, huh?
Exactly.
Like, and I'm glad we are talking because
Yeah.
while there's lots happening there in terms of creating content on this. कि ये लगाओ, ये है अच्छा है, वो अच्छा है, ये, you know, this product, that product. But there's still not acceptance,
still
and the
not
first person
accepting.
to object would be your family members.
And what I feel bad about is celebrities doing it don't come out in the open and say they're doing it. In fact, don't say it that
Just
you're
a
doing it.
few have.
No. The ones who are not saying it, I'm okay. Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't run it down after having done it.
Ah, okay.
You know, I don't do Botox. Oh my God, babes, you've been all over. But let's not say we don't do it.
Let's not deny.
You say there is exercise, there is everything.
Yeah.
Don't deny it. Say no comments and move on.
Yeah.
But the minute you deny it,
Yeah.
you're making it a taboo. That means who hides something?
Yeah.
Extramarital affairs are hidden. Why?
Yeah.
You know, you can say wo bhi
So
love hai, ye bhi love hai.
is it safe to say this is the best kept secret of Bollywood? One of them.
It is the most open secret of Bollywood. Why best kept?
But not really picked up in the right light.
Not accepted by them. Known by all. And when all know it without the right thing, it becomes wrong. Like for example, they will say, बेचारे किसी ने अगर बोटॉक्स कर दिया हो, they think plastic surgery. That is misinformation. There is no plastic surgery. It's Botox. It's something that you've injected, which is a protein which has relaxed those muscles, and the activity of the muscle will come back to normal in 4 to 6 weeks. That's not surgery.
And that's very different from
plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery is?
Plastic surgery is when you go under the knife, you give anesthesia, there's a recovery period, and you're doing a lot more than some tweaking here and there.
So you're saying in Botox and fillers, there is no anesthesia?
There is no anesthesia. It is back to work, and it is something which is done on a chair by the doctor when you go back home.
So it's less painful than a dental treatment?
Much less painful than a dental treatment if done rightly.
So
that's what I'm saying. When you don't talk openly, there is a lot of misinformation which goes out. It's okay. Like some people say, lip surgery. Lip surgery kya hota hai? There's nothing like that. People just put a filler in your lip.
Yeah.
That's
no,
not surgery.
when you say filler also, you know, that also is like sort of misleading. Filler का मतलब होता है अंदर silicone डाल दिया.
वो surgical है.
See, normal person, like if I interview 100 people today, and I'll ask them what is your knowledge on Botox, plastic surgery and this, they'll say कि silicone डालते हैं.
Yeah,
हर चीज में silicone डालते हैं.
भी अलग है, ये भी लोगों को
नहीं पता है.
Everything is called Botox.
Correct.
They will come and say, doctor, I don't want Botox. But I'm not giving you Botox.
Yeah.
But I want my lip bigger. Yeah. But that's not Botox and that's fillers. We have to start with education. Also, these tools, I will call them tools, like Botox. Again, let's be more clinical now that we're talking. Botox is a brand name.
Yeah.
The name of the drug is botulinum toxin.
Yeah.
And we have various brands. Botox is a brand by a company called Allergan. We have something called Dysport, which is the brand by a company called Galderma, we have Xeomin, which is a brand by a company called Merz, and so on.
Yeah.
And there are multiple other brands.
Sure.
So these are the multinationals, and these are their brand names.
Okay.
It is a protein which works on the neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction is the nerves when they enter the muscle.
Nerves when they enter the muscle. Okay.
It relaxes that junction, which relaxes the muscle which was hyperactive. That's the science of botulinum toxin. It can be done to relieve or reduce the lines of expressions, which are your wrinkles, so-called. It can be used.
It's around the eyes or the forehead or the forehead. Lips and all. Yeah.
It can be used to restructure your face. In a medical way as well, because you may have, like I have a problem of clenching my jaw. People who work out a lot clench their jaw also, and when you're stressed you do. And that's when you wear a mouth guard. But sometimes you will need to Botox this muscle because it is so painful otherwise. You're unable to open your mouth, you're unable to
you relax the muscle then?
Yes, you relax the muscle, which kind of structures your face as well. Which makes your face look a little bit leaner. Now, on camera, actors, as little as you are, with that kind of close-up, their faces look very big on camera.
Yes, they do.
So sometimes you have to Botox to be looking leaner.
Interesting.
That's not called
because
plastic
they say
surgery.
you look 8 pounds heavier more on camera.
Yeah. So, itne se ho, to itne dikhoge. But how do you make your face itna sa? वो तो genetic है.
Got it.
So then you make your face leaner by doing that. Nothing wrong in that.
Okay.
The problem is acceptance.
Yeah.
If makeup can be accepted,
If straightening
going for
can
a
be
cleanup can be accepted, if concealer is accepted to hide something, why not these tools which are more scientific,
Yeah.
more medical?
Yeah. And these are temporary, right? I mean, when
Everything is
everything is
temporary,
going in
yeah.
the under the skin,
And
it's not
coming
going to
back
stay there
to
forever.
the wrong results.
Yes.
That so many wrong results we see. Let's talk a little bit on that. Since it is temporary, it is safe and it is reversible. So for example, if somebody is roaming about with a lip which is too big as per you, but maybe not too big as per her, because if it was, she would have dissolved it.
Yeah.
Because a filler can be dissolved the very next day.
Oh, okay.
It can be reversed the very
within
next
24
day.
hours.
Within 24 hours.
Okay.
Similarly, a Botox will go away, botulinum will go away after 4 months.
Yeah.
So if something is permanent and not going, maybe that person likes it.
Yeah.
Let's not blame the doctor or the product
Yes.
anymore.
You know, the similes which I can draw from this is like back in those days when there was entire thing about having curly hair.
Yeah.
And people wanted to go for straightening, and straightening chemicals were very primitive.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they've
Yeah, yeah,
evolved.
yeah.
And you had to stay indoors for 4 days and not
Oh,
let the
really?
water touch the hair, and all of
Ah.
that used to happen. And there was a taboo. There was a big taboo regarding
Yeah.
that as well at that time.
And
right?
now I think it's very normal.
No,
I'm
it's
going
normal.
for a
No,
cysteine.
it's normal. It's
Yeah,
super
yeah.
normal because even the products have evolved. It's become easier.
You know, the time-
Everyone's doing
The
it.
time to normalize a phenomenon is the day you realize that it is medically safe. That's all that is required.
But that knowledge is not out there.
It should be out there, but let's take away the taboo of looking young. It is not. Now, I'll give you another thing. I tell all my friends this. There was a time when your average life expectancy was 56 to 60.
Correct.
That means आपने 20-25 साल में शादी कर ली, आपको
बिल्कुल।
बच्चे हो गए, बच्चे आपके बड़े हो गए,
बिल्कुल.
आप 50 के हो गए जब तक आपके बच्चे बड़े हो, और 10 साल जियोगे फिर चले जाओगे.
हाँ.
So you have to look old only for 10 years.
Correct.
Now the thing is, the average life expectancy is 86, dude.
Very good point. Huh?
Are you ready to look old from 50 to 86?
Wow, that's a lot of old age to carry on.
That's a lot of, and I
Yeah.
think old age is the only age which doesn't have an end point.
So there's nothing called old to grow age gracefully.
You no,
You can
there is
beautifully also.
Gracefully also needs help. Now, what help you want to give yourself is up to you.
Correct.
Like teenage age ends at 19. Adult age ends at 40.
Correct.
Middle age ends at 50. When does old age end? When you
Yeah,
die.
when you
That's
die.
not in your hand. So today, if I want to feel relevant
Yeah.
and I want to work till I'm 85,
Yeah.
but I have the energy and the brain to do that, but सामने वाले को लगता है बुढ़ा हो गया है.
Correct.
So maybe I'll change their perception.
Yeah. And they say, the mind doesn't grow old, right? It's just the
Yeah,
body.
so my mind wants to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in touch with technology.
Yeah.
I'm going to see to it that I don't become redundant because I'll keep reading.
Yes.
But I don't want you to feel that I'm redundant.
Medical advancement has made the old age like the longest phase of
It
life.
is, yes. And we want to keep living, but do we want to keep living without being relevant anymore? Is your dream only to travel to places, to go to a nightclub, to meet friends? Is that what life is going to be about? No. It has to end somewhere.
Yeah.
It has that relevance to do something with your life.
Yeah.
Needs to go on.
And this is very normal outside India, right? In many countries now.
Yes, because people are taking their old age as a gift. People are taking their aging as a gift. Because how beautiful it would be. Like I talk about myself. There was a time when I was working and seeing patients, but there was a lot of financial burden as well. Because I wanted to educate my daughter, I wanted to pay up all the EMIs and the loans. And now finally I've come to a stage where I'm done and I want to work peacefully without the financial stress. I'm going to work better.
And still enjoy more.
I'm going to enjoy more. I'm going to do the studying. So I want to be more relevant.
Yeah. It's the
with
second.
less pressure.
Yeah. It's the second
So,
youth.
second youth. So why not just live it properly?
So basically what you're saying is all these beauty enhancement procedures bring your second youth back. So you live more.
You live more and you live, the quality of your life is better.
Yeah.
And forget old age. Let me give you another example. When I was doing medicine. So, like I said, I come from a pretty middle class setup for the time. In my building, I was the only one who was studying to be a doctor when I came from. In my building, my mother was the only educated lady.
Okay.
In my building, my mother was the only lady going to work.
Okay.
Everybody else was at home looking after kids, and the kids were busy playing while I was giving entrance exams. So just the fact that I was a doctor put me on a pedestal higher than most. Now in that same building today,
Yeah.
there are 4 girls who are doing MBBS and 1 boy also. So 5 people in that same building.
Yeah.
Now when I stepped out in society, it was considered, and I go for an interview, they would say, "Acha doctor hai, pass ho gaye." Today, 5 doctors come for the same job. Then how are you going to choose?
Yeah.
You're going to look at
The times have changed now.
who is a smarter doctor.
Yeah.
और पहले नज़र में, how will you know who's a smarter doctor?
Yeah.
Some amount of physical appearance
Correct.
is going to, because now it is about overall development.
Yeah.
Just being educated
Is not enough.
Is not enough.
It's your personality, how
You
you
have
apply
to-
that knowledge. Yeah.
So
a lot is
how
at play.
does samne wala know that you're going to do it? You take care of yourself. First impression is, acha, maybe this one is a little bit more disciplined.
Correct. So I think physical appearance and physical fitness
Is mattering.
it matters. It completely matters, whether it's profession, whether it's your social circle, community, any interaction which you're doing with
Agree.
outside world. Forget outside, is also the connection with yourself,
Yourself.
right?
Like I totally agree that being vain without matter is not required. Like you cannot want to just look good.
Yeah. So it's a
You
balance.
have to, it's a balance. You
Balance.
have to have the matter and let the looks assist
Yeah.
that matter,
Yeah.
and let the matter shine
Yeah.
by you shining.
Yeah.
So there is nothing wrong in that, and let's accept it.
Yeah. Do you think in the coming times, maybe 2-3 years down the line, it'll become more acceptable?
I'm not sure about 2-3 years, but let me tell you,
Or lesser.
the next generation, when I look at my daughters, they're very open to talk about it. They don't judge people
Okay.
like the way our generation does. I've seen the gen next, they are
It's
not
very
into judging.
different.
In fact, they get very upset if you judge someone.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that people are henceforth going to be judged by their matter
Yeah.
and not what they do to get that matter.
Lovely. Yeah.
It's very important.
Lovely. Talking about the mental, which goes with the physical, there's something called neurocosmetics also.
Yes,
Right.
there is. It's a new trend.
Okay.
These neurocosmetics are those which kind of work by making your mind sounder as well. That means some products have fragrances which will calm you
Okay.
and thereby also work on the skin.
Like lavender.
Like jasmine.
Yeah.
Then there are certain products which have, there are adaptive essential oils
Okay.
which calm the body down
The
by
nervous
using,
system.
like nervous system down by making it as a body moisturizer.
Okay.
So there are,
Radiance also has these.
right now we are not into neuro skincare. I am making sunscreens,
Okay.
and I am very, very fond of a mineral sunscreen because I feel physical sunscreen is the way to go.
Okay.
And which are fragrance free, and we have serums which are corrective serums and for regular skin nourishment. Like we have a vitamin C, we have hyaluronic acid, we have a brightening serum which is a
Okay.
combination of 2 actives, and we have our game changer which is a retinol.
Okay.
The best way to know whether someone is making the right product is when they make the right retinol,
Okay.
because retinol could be a game changer, but the problem is, does your skin adapt to it? I like to have them in the purest form.
So not in combination.
I don't like to mix. See,
Why is that so?
I feel one can take away the potency of the other. Of course, there are products which can increase the potency of the other as well, which act as a catalyst. But then I feel that if somebody's skin is reacting, you will never know what you're reacting to.
Oh, because of which one?
Because which one? And then you'll have to stop both.
Understood.
So all my serums are single.
Okay.
They do the job.
Okay.
And when it's vitamin C, it's pure vitamin C. If it's hyaluronic acid, it's pure hyaluronic acid. If it's salicylic acid, it's pure salicylic acid.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Can you give us some examples of some breakthroughs which happened in your treatment? Somebody who's really, got magical results and helped them to enhance their confidence. Some change
Yes,
happened, drastic change happened in
Yeah,
their
this
life.
was a very, in interesting girl who's still my patient for many years. She was based in a different city, and for the longest time she used to itch herself out.
Why?
In stress, you itch, self-itching.
Okay.
She would like keep itching
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
scarring herself, and they come from a Marwari family, and
It's real stuff, right?
It's a
Actually,
real
I've
stuff.
heard people like
yeah.
have that
People
issue.
pull their hair and they cause scars
Or
on their
biting
scalp.
nails, I've heard, like pull their... Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes. So this girl, and since the goal in the life of a family tree was marriage, कि लड़की की तो शादी कर दो.
ठीक है.
So she had scars and she was not
Okay.
able to get married and not able to get a suitable thing.
Okay.
So we started her on treatment. She would come to Mumbai. She started looking nice. The treatment started helping. It took a year, and I had said we would take a year and more. She started looking nice, and then then boys were okay in seeing her, but then she realized, अब मैं शादी क्यों करूं? So she did the job. She went and did a course on interior designing.
Amazing.
And then she said, and then she's a very popular interior designer. And then she got married much later than when it started. She'd come to me when she was in her mid-20s. She got married in mid-30s.
Took a time.
A decade later.
Yeah.
Because then she says she got the confidence back. She
Oh
made her
my
own career, and
God.
we are in touch, and it's beautiful.
Amazing, yeah?
Yeah, so it can happen.
Yeah.
And it can really change the way you are.
So just that was sort of a trigger
Trigger, yeah.
which sort of settled a
It settled
major
a lot
part of
of
her life.
Which she realized that I don't have to go down this path. And this is not the only way I can redeem myself.
Changed the direction of your life.
Yes, and I didn't change it.
I mean, she changed it.
And what was required was just the mirror. You don't know how much your mirror helps. And I have realized this now.
Any more examples like these?
Oh, there are plenty. Our clinic is full of these examples. Let me give you the example of my assistant doctor. I mean, I will not name. My assistant doctor went through a bad relationship and a real, if I may say, asshole of a guy.
Okay.
You can edit that.
Okay.
But really made her go through bad stuff. And then I said, let's do something with you. So we shaped her lip up a little bit, and we got a skincare going.
Nice.
You can't recognize that girl now.
No?
She's confident as hell. She doesn't care. That ex-boyfriend got married and he's saying, Jo karna hai karo. And now she's dating a fabulous guy and not in a rush to get married.
Lovely.
That is one. Then we had another girl, a Catholic girl, who was adopted by someone, and she had a lot of scars. And the parents were thinking, and the parents were really, really in love with the child, but the child kept thinking that I am adopted because never looked as good as the parents. And the parents always wanted to do something about it because they didn't want her to feel like that.
Yeah.
So we started working on her. She started looking fabulous with cleaner skin and all. And then she says that now I feel that they are my parents. Nothing changed. She always knew she was adopted. But when they started going out for lunches and dinners, she said, now I feel
Amazing.
that I'm the child. I feel now I have a family.
Complete impact on mental health.
Yes, it is. How much it impacts your mental health is not funny.
It's not funny. You also reverse tattoos, right?
Yes,
like
we
if
can.
somebody is not interested in doing
Yeah.
living with it anymore. And also self-abuse scars.
Self-abuse scars can be reduced up to a point depending
Not
on
completely.
at what stage of scarring you are in. If you're really deep, we can make them a little bit more superficial, but we can't reverse them.
Yeah, because that's gone skin deep.
That's beyond the skin. That's probably
Okay.
Skin deep हम कर सकते हैं, but beyond that.
पर उस skin की नीचे वाले level
में चला
में तो
गया
उसमें तो कुछ हो नहीं
कुछ
सकता.
नहीं है.
And the tattoos would take how many sittings?
So it's easier to get a tattoo than remove a tattoo blanket statement. So please think 100 times after you've fallen in love, is she the one? Or is he the one? Because removing takes at least 6 to 8
That'll be more
sessions.
painful.
Oh, painful, more expensive.
And every time you're getting it removed, going for the session, you'll be reminded of the person.
And it hurts.
And it hurts.
It hurts here. The pocket is later.
So you don't care about the money you'll make, but you're saying, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
No, please be careful. Please be careful of what you ink.
Okay.
And I also strongly believe in one thing, that anything to do with your body, affects your body.
And the mind.
आप कुछ लिखते हो आपके बॉडी में, आप वो बन जाते हो. You absorb those energies. So be careful. Any which ways. Let a tattoo not be a flower because you liked a flower.
Wow.
Let a tattoo be the flower you want to be rather than what you liked.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
very important.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it
Very
works.
interesting. Yeah.
It works for and it works against.
Do you have tattoos?
Yes,
How many?
one.
Okay. Can I ask? What is it?
Yeah, it's my daughter's name, but
Okay.
we have an Om written. So me and my husband got it together.
Wow.
We have the name and an Om written on it.
Same tattoo.
Same tattoo, because I wanted her to be peaceful as a person, and I always tell everybody that whatever mistakes your parents make while they're raising you, you're careful to not make those mistakes when you're raising your child. But what happens is in that whole journey, you end up making some brand new ones.
Yeah.
So now, those I think she will look into. But the aim was for her to have peace
Okay.
and for me to be peaceful about her.
Okay.
So we had Om and her name.
Very
written.
nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. When celebs take appointment,
Yeah. Nightmare.
and do you carry your equipment to their residence or they come to your clinic?
So as a rule, I don't go for house
Lovely.
visits. As a rule,
Okay.
so I've lost on a lot of, and the celebs who
Would
know
they
it
prefer?
know it.
They prefer
Oh, yeah,
it
the
that
first question is
आप घर आ जाओ.
means if the first of all they get taken aback when you say I don't. So it takes some time for it to settle in. But out of 50, say out of 100% of celebs who've called me to come to their house and I have refused all, 75% have finally turned up as a ratio. Like
And when they are there, the other normal people are there.
I think the celeb culture is also changing. There was a time, like if you ask me this 10 years ago, even TV actors aate the, they wanted a clean room. But now it is not like that.
ऐसा नहीं है.
I think they are more human. I think they're very normal. They come. I have not seen them throwing that much tantrum.
Okay.
कि इसको निकालो, उसको निकालो. Yes, sometimes we do it because
Just to
we
make
can
it
see
comfortable for
because
them.
there have been times when people have, ऐसा phone रख के, they're filming and the next thing is
Yeah.
you also don't like it. So yeah.
Taps
we
are
do.
really
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
these days.
But
yeah, it's like it's blown out of proportion
it's blown out of
sometimes. It's really
proportion.
bad.
And so, but yeah, it is tough to have a celeb because you have to be very careful because it faces on screen. If somebody says something wrong about them, it is finally hitting your art. So you need to be careful.
Yeah.
Secondly, you give them more time because I don't blame them because they are criticized way more than an average person.
Yeah.
So you have to be extremely, extremely careful.
Do you take pressure?
A lot of it.
Okay.
Because I know what pressure they're going through. I can feel it. Nobody
Again,
wants
the
to,
energy exchange.
the energy
which you
exchange.
were
I
talking
can
about,
see it that
There's a lot at stake.
there's a lot at stake,
Yeah.
and it's not fun to have people criticizing you as much stonewalled as you are. It's not fun to people
Yeah.
calling you plastic. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah.
So I see that in
Yeah.
them. So I'm more careful. I am out there all the time. Plus, of course, they don't cross refer. They don't tell anybody that they've done something.
Yeah.
So it's not that word of mouth is never a thing with celebs.
Yeah.
They're not going to talk about you to anybody else.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them again for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are human. They would also want to tell their friends.
Yeah.
But the world is such that they're going to be looked down upon
Yeah.
if they do. So,
But well, some of the celebs have gone through this and things have gone wrong, right? Whether international or in India.
but then that is medicine.
That is
It
medicine.
is going to go wrong. We are not gods. It goes wrong in a heart surgery. It goes wrong in any surgery. That is the law of averages.
But when you're saying it's non-invasive, you're not going through anesthesia, then
you don't die,
you
but
don't die.
you'll get a bad result.
But how bad can that be?
Now, your expertise comes into picture because our field is so diluted now that we have people who've done courses and come and start injecting because there's no regulation. We have non-dermatologists injecting. We have people who are just MBBS
Why would people
injecting.
let them touch their face?
I want to ask them the same question.
Cost?
Cost, yes, because
Where are these people sitting? They don't have clinics.
all over.
They don't have clinics. They have clinics.
They have clinics. They have clinics all over.
And they're
So
doing
there are-
IVs as well.
They're doing everything. IV is the smallest of the things they're doing. They're injecting, they're doing thread lifts, they're doing everything. Cost is one. Second is overall misinformation, overall lack of awareness, and we don't talk about it much. So that's where it all starts, right? Because people don't talk about the procedures, they don't talk about where they're doing it. So even if they're going wrong,
Yeah.
who's pulling anyone up?
So not
So
enough is being spoken or written about
yes,
this.
sometimes when things are hidden for too long, it gives rise to an entirely different industry, which is detrimental to the science.
So does dermatologist or dermatology...
They have gotten together
you
now.
have gotten together and you
We
have
an
a
association.
sort of a council or association.
We have an
Okay.
IADBL, which is the Indian Association of Dermatologists and Venereologists,
Okay.
and we are campaigning heavily
Okay.
to weed out things, but
It's
see,
taking
wait and
time.
watch.
And is media supporting it?
Not as yet,
Not as yet.
but this is what we are doing through our bit, through letting the awareness
Yeah.
spread, that least people can do is check on the credentials of the doctor before getting in, because I understand that money plays a role,
Yeah.
but a bad job is going to cost you way more than an expensive good job.
More
So,
damage.
yeah.
And what about this entire culture of influencer now, right? There's a lot of influencers post-COVID who are out there creating content on skin,
Yeah.
care,
How
and
do I
tips
address them?
and-
How about you telling me
Yeah.
about them? Because I don't know how to address them.
You know, honestly, I'm in content and branded content, right, for the longest time.
Yeah.
And when I talk to a beauty brand, for example, and they'll tell me, get us a dermatologist, get us like credential doctors talk about our products, and that's top of their influencer bucket. And second would be beauty influencers or lifestyle influencers and so forth. But for them, doctors are the top bucket. So any more case studies would you like to share with us?
Since there is so much of taboo on botulinum or Botox, let's talk some goodness about it as well. So we had this girl who was overweight and a little bulky on the shoulder.
Okay.
Also, she was heavy chested. So when you're heavy chested, what happens is a lot of weight comes on your back.
Yeah.
So automatically you develop a hunch kind of thing. So she used to walk with that hunch also, and it used to make her upper body look very bulky.
Okay.
And she was always in pain, always irritable, because it's heaviness. And it's not something that you can tell people, because you yourself don't know. It is an anatomical thing.
So
So
spine pain, or it was
The
just...
muscle becomes, so any muscle
Okay.
which is overused becomes bulky, right? Like you go to the gym, you work out on
Yes.
your biceps
Yes.
become big.
Yes.
Now all your life, your back muscle, which is a trapezius, it's a diamond shaped muscle there, has been carrying the weight of your chest.
Yes.
So it has now become bulky. So overall, when you wear blouses and all, also it looks like a huge bulk behind. It's not very pleasant to look at. But this is something that people don't understand. So when she came, she was always very upset, and she would say, my hair is falling. I've never seen her smiling, because most of the clothes don't fit you well. You know, you have a bulge over there. So I told her that, so one day when she was just sitting, I was just checking her face, and I said that I like touching the patient. I was checking her face, and I just said, let me check your neck, and I did this, and she's like, oh my God, that feels so good. So I said, do you have stiffness of the neck? She says, yeah. So I pressed on this side, and I pressed on this side, and I could actually see her relaxing. I said, your trapezius is so bulky. It must be causing a lot of stiffness. She says, I wake up with stiffness, I sleep with stiffness, and my husband and the in-laws feel she's fat. You know, moti hai, because she looks bigger.
Bulky on that part
So I said,
of the body.
let's use the Botox for what it was made for.
Okay.
Initially. Botox was made to relax the hypertensive muscle.
Okay.
So we injected Botox into the trapezius muscle and the scaphoid out here.
Okay.
I wish I could show the pictures here. Her posture changed completely. The bulk went away.
Okay.
She started looking leaner. She started running. She started working out better.
Wow.
She was a happier person. Then she started caring about her skin and her hair. And today, She comes to the clinic. I cannot believe it. She comes on a bike, on a cycle.
Wow.
So somebody who would not, means it was, I couldn't believe this change.
Complete transformation.
Complete transformation. And it was all because then she started wearing those tank tops, which show
How
your
old was she
shoulders.
then?
39.
39, okay.
You know, when your shoulders show, she was slender. So it made so much difference.
Amazing.
So that's one very important thing. And then I have this other patient whom I've been seeing for a very, very long time, under too much depression because of pigmentation issues.
Okay.
So she has so basically it's a cycle. She has pigmentation, and because her skin is dry, and because the skin is dry, she has more pigment.
Okay.
Because when I
Yeah.
remember
So
when
it's
I
a
said when
cycle.
it's dry,
It's a cycle now. It's like
it's dry because the
Right.
barrier function is not there. Because the barrier function is not there, it becomes drier. It becomes more damaged. So it's a cycle. Very difficult to break this cycle. And somewhere at one point, we need to tell patients that some things you need to accept.
okay.
Like today, if the color of your eye is black, you want blue. At best, you can wear a lens.
Lens.
You can't change it.
Correct.
So we said, Beta, we will need to work on you accepting it.
Yeah.
Now, how do we do that?
Yeah.
It's very easy to tell somebody that accept it.
Yeah.
So we said, let's work on things which can be changed.
Okay.
Let's not work on things which can't be changed.
Okay.
So I put her on a little bit of filler to sculpt the face.
Okay.
So we got her cheekbone a little enhanced, we got her jawline a little,
In-
and that hyaluronic acid, which is a part of the filler,
Yeah.
also indirectly over a period of time started hydrating her skin.
Oh.
Because hyaluronic acid absorbs water, which absorbs 1000x the water of the molecule
Okay.
over a period of time.
Okay. Okay.
And she was young, she's 26.
Yeah.
It changed her, it didn't change her color, but it changed her skin type. It became glossier, became
More
hydrated,
radiant.
radiant. It started reflecting light because अगर आपने swimming pool देखा है, when light falls on the pool, it shines because the water is reflecting the
Correct.
light.
Yeah.
So the hyaluronic acid under the skin started reflecting light.
Amazing.
She went off antidepressants. She went off all the other things she was doing, which was smoking and XYZ. She went off all of it. She started cycling. And of course, there's no boyfriend and all, at least not that I know of. But the biggest thing that I heard was when her mother came and said, Doctor, we've stopped the antidepressants. And she stopped antidepressants after 11 years.
What a breakthrough, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
by just-
amazing.
So sometimes we don't know how much that is
Yeah.
bringing in her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very, I came back home and I was feeling so good about it.
Yeah.
I was feeling really good about it.
Yeah.
And when I spoke this, these messages, when I show my husband and I used to show my daughter, it used to just make me feel it was worth it all.
Absolutely.
And when you keep getting these messages all the time, because people in our country don't applaud good results as much as they run down bad results. It's a thing.
Yeah.
गलत किया है तो मारो,
Yeah.
अच्छा किया है तो वो तो उनका काम है.
Correct.
But there are sensitive people who also believe that we are in here for a larger picture, which is not money.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
It really makes you feel good.
Like the human body, like you say, the largest organ is the skin.
Skin, for a reason.
Yeah, and there are a lot of other organs who are doing their work. We don't see them because they're all inside the body.
Yeah. So they
But
don't need to look good.
They don't need to look good. And this
Exactly.
largest organ needs to look
Needs to
good.
look, poor thing.
And it's completely linked to your mental health.
Something
how?
Something
right?
like a woman, right? She
Yeah.
has to lift the heavy weights, look like a woman, act like a woman, be the moral torch bearer of the society
Yeah.
while doing her stuff.
Yeah.
Her skin has to do the same thing. It has to protect and it has to look good.
Very nice. Nice analogy.
Yeah.
Coming to this, I wanted to ask you, what is your definition of unstoppable woman?
Can I read this?
Yes, please.
Because it is something that I have often quoted. I know it by heart,
Yeah.
but since it is the media and you and all beautiful girls, I get nervous. So I am going to read it.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'd also said it in one of my talks, which I was invited for, and this is a very popular nazam or sher by Faiz,
Okay.
and it says, and it really holds true for me.
Okay.
कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है, जो है वो भी खो सकता है, इस राह में रह गुज़र है कितने. रह गुज़र means there are these enemies and there are robbers on the highways. कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है. अरे कुछ और तो वैसे ही होता है, कुछ और तो अक्सर हो जाता है, पर तुम जिस लम्हे में ज़िंदा हो वो लम्हा तुमसे ज़िंदा है. ये वक्त नहीं फिर आएगा, तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. So it is something which I hold very close to my heart, and I think that an unstoppable woman is someone who accepts there is never going to be a balance, girls. You're always going to be a juggler. But there is a reason why you are a juggler. You have 2 ovaries and uterus, which the other one doesn't have. So just go for it. Really.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for coming on the show. And I think you've shared so much about skin and skincare
Yeah.
in a very different way, in a very different light. And
Thank
our
you.
audience, our viewers
Does
are
it
going to
come
love
from
it.
the fact that I wanted to do gynec and I ended up doing skin?
I have no idea. But I think you've come from a very holistic perspective, which
Yeah.
viewers will love.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you so much for sharing your presence on the show
Thank you.
today.